Ambuja Cements gains in trade after 2.76% equity worth about 4,200 crores change hands in a block deal at 625 rupees a share. Sources say promoter holder in investments was the likely seller.
Nykaa took climbs after 1.4% equity change hands in a large trade. Sources say that Harindrapal Singh and Associates was the likely seller.
TVS Motors zooms more than 3% after brokerage firm UBS issues a buy call and raises the stock's target price to 3,200 rupees, citing new model launches that can further aid volume growth.
RailTel surges nearly 6% after the company gets a work order of around 53 crore rupees from the Uttar Pradesh Police Recruitment and Promotion Board. Hello and welcome to Chartbusters. I'm Nigel D'Souza. Joining me as always is Mangalam Malu. It's a Friday morning. The market's a little bit quite Mangalam to kickstart trade. But the good news is quite a few stocks are in the green, and I think some kind of consolidation would be par for the course.
Consolidation would be par for the course, also because of the big events that everyone's watching out for. Tonight there will be the Fed speech at Jackson Hole and all of that and stuff. Let's see what happens. I'll be watching out for how the IT index pans out, because this entire week the IT index one day has gained, the other day has seen a bit of a decline, then saw a bit of a gain. Yesterday was slightly under pressure. Today is down by almost 0.7% as well. Typically one sees, some long build-up ahead of Fed-related events. So let's see whether there could be some pickup out there or not as well. Good time to get in Manas Jaiswal for a quick technical check on the market. Manas, there's consolidation, but it's consolidation with an upward bias. You could say that, it's good that the market's not falling, but it's not so good that because it's not, rising with that sort of ferocity that we saw last Friday as well. Do you think a bit of a breakout or a breakdown is on the cards?
Good morning, Mangalam. So you're absolutely right that the undertone is definitely bullish, because day by day the support is shifting upwards. Now Nifty has a lot of support near 24,700. So it is almost 100 rupees downside. So on the upside, I think Nifty has potential to test its previous high, which is placed near 25,050 mark. So from current levels, you can see almost 200 points rally. So take a long position here. Keep your stop loss below 24,700 and target would be around 25,050. But I'm more bullish on Bank Nifty, because here Bank Nifty is consolidating above 20-day moving average. And looking at the pattern, I can say that Bank Nifty can test 51,700 in next 2 to 3 trading sessions. So here I think one can go long at current levels, keep the stop loss below 50,700. And target would be around 51,700 and above that 51,700, 500 and 700.
Got it. Okay, all right. Manas, what about individual stocks though?
So good morning, Nigel. So first one is a break call on Indigo, where stock has given a fresh breakout. We have seen great recovery in last 2-3 trading sessions. I think even at current levels, one can create long position. Stop loss should be around 45.40 and target would be around 47.50. Second is a buy call on Coal India. See, we have seen some consolidation, but again, here also the undertone is quite bullish. I think one can take a chance. I think stock is ready to give a fresh breakout. Take a long position in Coal India also. Stop loss should be around 529 and target would be around 550.
All right. Manas, you are long on the airline, which is Interglobe Aviation. Do you have a view on the airport? Because GMR Airports too has risen from the lows, currently moving towards the high point of today's trading session so far. It's done well in the past, but this month it's consolidated a little. It's moving higher.
So yes, GMR Infra is looking strong for very short term. I think for trading, one can take a long position. Stop loss should be around 95.50 and target would be around 102. But again, if you're talking about little bit long term, medium to long term, I think GMR has potential to test 120. It may take time. It may take 6 to 8 months time. But again, here the trend is quite positive on the medium to long-term charts also.
Okay, all right. Thanks a lot for that, Manas. Well, time to shift focus to our special segment. We get a few ideas for profit from Money Control Pro. Khushbu Rai Gupta of moneycontrol.com joins us to talk about a stock that she's tracking closely. Khushbu?
In today's idea for profit, we have LIC Housing Finance. The company has a long track record of steady performance spanning across more than 3 decades. Although the recent growth was impacted by a seasonally weak quarter, and extended elections, the management remained confident of achieving double-digit growth in portfolio in FY25, led by retail and project finance book. Also, the management believed that the net interest margin has bottomed out and is expected to grow and sustain in the range of 2.7 to 2.9%, led by change in the disbursement mix. There are some positive development which indicate that some big ticket loans which were under the NCLT provision is expected to pay off in the coming quarters. Moreover, during the June quarter, the company received fresh term loan sanction of Rs 12,500 crore from various banks which are expected to be disbursed in the coming quarters. Also, if we look at the valuation, the stock is trading below its FY26 estimated book value and is available at a discount to most peers. We recommend investors to add the stock at current level with a long-term view.
All right, with that, what we'll do is take a short break, but a lot of stocks are buzzing around. What we'll do is, on the other side, we'll focus on all those buzzing stocks. Stay with us. What is this travel space, travel and tourism, which is a buzz right now? We spoke about Interglobe Aviation moments ago. We spoke about the up move that we saw on GMR airports as well. Look at some of these travel platforms. So Ixigo, which is Le Travenues Tech, that's moved higher. That's moved to the high point of trade. Indian Hotels did well in yesterday's trading session, so consolidating right now. So Le Travenues Tech comes up for you. The other one, the recent listing, we have Yatra as well. So both these platforms are doing extremely well. Should come up for you on the screen at some point. So keep an eye out on all these stocks. Alongside that, we're also seeing some traction in a bunch of other stocks. So that's Yatra Online, that's moved higher. Le Travenues Tech comes up as well. And then we did see some gains on Zomato. Yesterday, after the news came by, maybe it was, buy and rumor, sell on news sort of thing, profit booking taking place. But now the street's taking note of that acquisition once again. Zomato's moved higher by about 4.5%. Additionally, overnight, they also announced the closure of their Legends business, which is not too much in terms of revenue or cost, etc. It's just the focus that the company has on its core. And willingness to go ahead beyond businesses which are not working and move forward is something that the street likes. So that explains why Zomato has moved once again to a fresh record high. But on the NSE index constituent changes, they are on the cards and may be announced as soon as this evening itself. It changes likely both in the Nifty and the Nifty Bank. Vivek joins in to tell us what could be shuffled around and the impact it could have on the flows. Vivek.
Well, good morning. That's right. So most likely, by the end of today evening, we will be hearing from the NSE Index Subcommittee. So what is it that they will be doing? They will be looking at all of the indices, and they will be looking at which are the constituents they could add and which are the constituents they could delete from the indices. All of the NSE indices, in fact, will be in focus. The ones that we will be tracking are the ones where there will be passive fund flow interest, and there could be some impact. Now, the first index that we're looking at is the Nifty itself. The Nifty itself, IFL estimates that there could be two entries into the Nifty. The first entry that is likely is Trent, and if it comes in, on the back of this particular inclusion into the Nifty, Trent could see inflows of close to $422 million. The other, likely candidate that could enter the Nifty is BEL, that is Bharat Electronics. That could see flows of close to $400 million. Now, remember, all of these calculations and the, the constituents that could make the entry as far as the Nifty is concerned are based on the fact that there will be no new fresh FNO constituents that will be approved. So in case that happens, there could be a change, but at this point of time, going in with the same list of FNO constituents. So who could make way for Trent as well as BL? LTI Mindtree, that is the one that could see outflows of close to $177 million. Divi Laboratory, that could see outflows of close to $220 million. Now coming to Nifty Bank, one inclusion, making way will be Bandhan Bank, that could see an exit of close to $40 million. What could come in is Canara Bank, and that could see flows of close to $79 million. Today evening is when this particular announcement is expected. It will be interesting to see, what is the final outcome from this particular index review.
Okay, all right. Thanks a lot for that, Vivek. Well, Reliance as well is in focus on the back of a bullish note that's coming in from Bernstein. Rima's here to tell us more on that. Rima?
Thanks so much for that. So ahead of the AGM next week, Bernstein has raised the target price on Reliance Industries to 3,440. This is after the company has analyzed the annual report of Reliance Industries. They're saying the growth engine is now Reliance Jio. They've raised the target multiple for Reliance Jio, that's the telecom business, because now the focus of the company is monetizing Jio. Remember, Reliance Industries led the way in terms of tariff hikes, and for them, their 5G rollout has been completed. So they're anticipating that Bernstein anticipates a 16% top-line growth for the telecom business and a 20% EBITDA growth over the next 3 years. They expect market share gains to continue, and according to them, the market share gains will continue as Jio reaches 47% market share by the end of FY25. CLSA too is bullish on Reliance Industries. Their target price stands at 3,300. They're saying the next leg of growth will come from 5G monetization and broadband ramp-up.
Okay. All right, Rima, thanks a lot for that, but we can't let you go so fast. What about RailTel? That's buzzing in trade. Post that order win. Tell us more.
Well, it's about a 52 crore order win that the company has won from Uttar Pradesh Police Recruitment and Promotion Board, which is an order for live CCTV surveillance service, impersonation control through Aadhaar-based biometric service, digital fingerprint and facial recognition. So it's got the street excited. It's a 52 crore order win, so not that sizable, but the stock is now up 50% year to date, 200% in the last 1 year, and over the last 3 years, it's given a more than 50% stock return CAGR. Came out with the numbers a while back. In terms of top-line growth, they've managed to hold on to about an 18-19% year-on-year revenue growth. Margins are up on a quarter-on-quarter basis, and they've also expanded by about 250 basis points on a year-on-year basis. Back to you.
Right, Rima, thanks a lot for that. The EdTech space is actually buzzing around this morning. We've been talking about NIIT through the morning, up around 9% decent volumes as well. On 10-day basis, the kind of volumes that the stock does today in the first hour itself, it's done 10 times of that. So maybe we'll keep an eye out on any disclosures that may come by as well. It's a big volume mover today. But, looking at that, we've also seen Aptech. Aptech's seen a bit of a rub-off out there as well. So the intraday of Aptech comes up for you as well. Both these stocks, mind you, have been big underperformers. They're down around 20-25% from the 52-week highs as well in an otherwise strong market. Aptech has now moved to the high point of trade as well. But Nigel, a couple of days ago, we were talking, I was here, you were at the Motilal Oswal conference, you were having a conversation with the CFO of Ambuja Cements. That stock's higher today after a large trade.
Well, that's right. No, we quizzed the CFO,
Yes.
and he said that it's up to the family office whether or not they want to sell. But that's the big news that took place earlier today. There was that long-anticipated block, not too long actually, but the last few days there's been that speculation that the promoter entity of Ambuja Cements could come in and sell some stake. And it appears, according to sources, that that could have been the case. Let's run you through the details. There were close to 6.8 crore shares that changed hands today. Total deal worth was close to around 4,200 crores odd, and the price was around 625.5 rupees per share. The base price was at around 600 rupees. So the expectation was maybe, in fact, the stock starts lower. But the deal got done in the block window, and because of that, the shorts have had to run for cover, which explains why the stock is higher. Sources indicate that the promoter entity is likely to be the seller. And just to give a revision with regard to what went on, the promoter entity in October 2022, they went ahead and they issued shares worth around 20,000 crores to themselves at a base price of around 419 rupees. And over the last few quarters, they have been converting these warrants. So that's why the promoter stake in the company went from around 63% to around 70%. Now, post this 2.8% sale, it'll come back down to roughly around 67.5 to around 68% or thereabouts. So that's the news today. Promoter looking at deleveraging themselves at the parent level, according to sources. And that block took place, but it took place in the block window, which has squeezed out, the shots.
All right, Nigel, that explains the kind of move that we're seeing on Ambuja Cement. Meanwhile, just keep an eye out on a couple of these other stocks as well. We've been talking about, how the way the briefs stocks have done extremely well. So Lux Industries has moved to the high point of trade, and this week actually it did belong to Rupa. Earlier in the week, we did speak with the management. They indicated that demand is picking up. Exports is a decent opportunity as well, even as they maintain their margins in low double digits. That's about today. That's on Rupa, up around 1.6%. But just look at this week. It's up 18% for this week itself. And Lux Industries, of course, for the last couple of months has been a big mover. So keep an eye out on all of that. Speaking about demand and the outlook of that itself, on the other side, we'll have the management of Anand Agarwal, the CFO of V-Mart Retail.
Welcome back. Just take a look at a few of these stocks that are moving around in style. Interglobe Aviation, the stock is up 3.5%. You talk about valuations not being very, very cheap, but they are a dominant force here in the aviation market, and the market is willing to give them that premium. The stock is flying away up close to 3.7%. Pyramid Enterprises is another one. The promoter entity came in and they did some creeping acquisition. That stock is at the high point of the day. It's had a good week. For the week, it's up close to 12%. So big up move is what you're seeing on Pyramid Enterprises. On the flip side, you have stocks like Vascon Engineering. Sharp downtick is what you're seeing on that name. It did see a bit of a rally in the last few sessions, and now it's given all of them up. So big downtick over there. Avenue Supermarts as well has moved into the red, so that's down close to 1.7%. And another stock that has an element of EV in it is Precision Camshaft. You pull it up week to date, the stock is up close to around 20%. So big up move is what we are seeing. They had their con call earlier this week. Today it's up close to 3%. Volumes much higher than normal. And week to date chart as well will tell you it's moved very, very swiftly. Manglam, what else are you tracking?
I'm looking at Greaves Cotton, Nigel.
The other one with an EV play.
With an EV play. So that's moved around 3.5–4% from the lows right now. TBO Tech is the other one which I'm looking at as well. Not sure what exactly is the news out here, but the stock is up around 10% this week. Volumes piling up as well. At the start of this month, it was slightly lower, but remember, it's a recent listing, so we're seeing these moves on that one. So Greaves Cotton, of course, the EV play, and TBO Tech is the one that I'm looking at, which has moved higher as well. But let's talk about the retail space. After several quarters of muted consumer sentiment, value fashion retailer V-Mart is starting to see some betterment, but sales per square feet is still not close to pre-COVID levels. The CFO of the company, Anand Agarwal, told our colleague Shilpa in an exclusive conversation on the sidelines of the Retail CFO Summit. Listen in.
Definitely, there are some betterment which are happening, and especially in the tier 2, tier 3 segments where we sort of specialize in. And this particular segment had definitely been slightly subdued for the last 3 years post-COVID due to a variety of factors. But more than that, I would like to stress that we have taken a lot of actions in the last 1 year, a lot of projects that we've been working on in terms of improving the product profile, in terms of improving the pricing, in terms of also improving the look and feel of the stores. So there's a lot of work which has actually gone in terms of what we wanted to change, and some part of that has now started to bear fruit for us. Right. So the improvement that we see is not just coming in from the macro getting better, but also a lot of it coming from what we have been able to turn around within the organization.
Right. But from a macro point of view, if I'm to talk about, do you feel that it will take a few more quarters before demand sort of really returns? What is your expectation?
No, definitely. It's going to be a slow recovery. It's going to be a slow growth, but definitely my sense is we are, getting better, and every month is getting better. In terms of performance, in terms of sales per square feet, we're still not as close to what we used to do before COVID. Right. So definitely we still have a lot to catch on. But yes, the progress seems strong and the growth is visible. So yes, it might take a couple of more quarters to get back to where we really want to be.
Fair enough. And, your sales per square foot this quarter was the highest, I think, in about 4 years, if I'm not wrong. Do you think that sort of growth right now will be sustainable for you with a sort of hope for revival going forward? And what's the trajectory that you have in mind when it comes to same-store sales growth also? How do you see that sort of going for this fiscal?
So definitely we are working towards betterment, and all indicators are there that we should be able to get where we want.
Where is that?
We first want to get back to pre-COVID levels, and that's the first target. So that's the entire organization is working towards that. In terms of same-store sales growth, definitely I think mid to high single-digit same-store sales growth should be possible, and that is what definitely seems visible right now.
And finally, I wanted to understand with respect to store expansion, the last couple of quarters, in fact, generally retail players we've seen a slowdown in the store expansion plans. A lot of store rationalization also has taken place. Do you think, given the slowdown that we've seen in the past couple of quarters, that going forward for you also, are you slowing down on your store expansion, or looking more, sort of doing store rationalization? Will you be focusing on closing down more stores? Sort of what's the strategy there?
So I think weaning out any loss-making stores or any part of the organization is absolutely a hygiene, and it's not about a slowdown or a aggressive growth strategy. As a strategy, we always look on growth, and we will keep opening stores, and we will keep opening more and more number of stores every year. There's no question around that. But having said that, yes, we have also, cleaned up some part of our network. In the last 2 years, we would have closed at least 30-35 stores. So these are, standard or regular exercises that you keep on doing, depending on how the macro or the environment is looking like, and particularly for the locations that you were not successful or so successful in. But yes, going forward, we are very, gung-ho about the future, and we are very, ambitiously looking at growth coming in from new store expansion.
All right, with that, what we'll do is wrap up on this edition of Chartbusters with the news that the mid-cap index is mildly in the red, the Nifty Bank again in the red, but the other indices are mildly in the green. It's basically flitting between red and green, just around the flat line, as a Friday morning should be. Take a short break, come back.